Welcome to the Ford VPEC, Ford DTF, and Ford NMPDC Site Safety Orientation. Key learning points of this orientation are: all work scopes must be covered by an applicable PTA located at the work area. No PTA, no work, no exceptions. Worker engagement forms. Stop unsafe work authority and responsibility. It is everyone's obligation to stop unsafe work. Stopping unsafe work includes observing supervisors, fellow employees, and subcontractors. COVID-19, social distancing. Contractors will do their best to maintain 6 feet of social distancing as much as possible throughout their work shift. If possible, install barricades to isolate work tasks from other trades or groups. Trailers, break, lunch areas must be arranged to encourage 6 feet social distancing. Any task that can be completed outside should be moved outside unless moving the task creates a larger hazard. Ensure employees work safely and use proper hygiene in the workplace. Job sites and trailers must have restrooms and wash stations/hand sanitizer for workers to wash their hands. All work and break areas must be cleaned with a disinfectant cleaner after all breaks, lunches, and at the end of the day. Pre-task analysis, PTA, risk assessment. A pre-task analysis is a risk assessment tool required to be developed to pre-plan high-risk, non-routine work, at a minimum. There are other terms for PTAs. JHA, JSA, PTP, etc. Contractors are encouraged to use their own PTA, risk assessment form. Worker engagement form, also known as a daily PTA, must be completely filled out, front and back, and signed off on at the beginning of the workday, and initialed at the end of the workday. The worker engagement form is to be completed daily, at a minimum, for each task. Maximum engagement is the goal and purpose of the form. Form is meant to capture critical tasks, omissions, and changes to the original PTA. Daily tasks must be filled out on form, identify hazards and control measures, and must be signed by all affected employees engaged in that task. Each contractor is responsible for maintaining a record of their worker engagement forms. Ford required permits must be indicated on the PTA by checking the appropriate box. The main types of permits are electrical, hot work, excavation, combustion, asbestos removal, and confined space. Do not enter a marked or unmarked confined space without approval of ARIST EO safety. Ford VPEC and Ford DTF contractor parking policy. Parking is along Enterprise Drive. No loitering in the street. No parking in any entrances, access points, or barricaded areas. Do not park within 15 feet of any fire hydrant. Ford NMPDC parking policy. Contact your contact person for parking location depending on project. Any parking violations will result in: first offense, written warning; second offense, time off. Remain in your work area at all times. All construction personnel shall remain within the construction zone. No unnecessary or unauthorized roaming outside of the construction zone. Image capturing or recording devices. Unauthorized photo or videotaping is not permitted. Substance abuse. Drug testing is required for all contractors within the last 90 days. Alcoholic beverages and controlled substances are strictly prohibited. Being in possession of or under the influence of these substances will result in dismissal from the site. Any at-fault incidents and property damage over $5,000 will require drug testing. Workplace violence. Aristio is committed to maintaining a workplace free from threats or acts of intimidation and violence. There is zero tolerance for the following. Intimidation is a physical or verbal act toward another person, the result of which causes that person to reasonably fear for his or her safety or the safety of others. Threat of violence is a physical or verbal act that threatens bodily harm to another person or damage to the property of another. Acts of violence is a physical act, whether or not it causes actual bodily harm to another person or damage to the property of another. Sexual harassment is harassment in a workplace, or other professional or social situation, involving the making of unwanted sexual advances or obscene remarks. Racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. Weapons policy. It is Ford's policy that weapons of any kind, regardless if an individual is licensed to carry a weapon, are prohibited on Ford Motor Company property. Contractors are not allowed to have weapons in their vehicles while on Ford property, which includes rifles and shotguns. Personal protective equipment, PPE requirements for this project are as follows: hard hat, safety glasses with side shields, clear lenses when working inside, sturdy work boots with over-the-ankle protection, high visibility clothing or vest, long pants, and minimum 4-inch sleeve. There could be additional PPE requirements depending on the task. Inspect all PPE prior to using each time. If any part of your PPE is damaged, see your supervisor for a replacement. Store all PPE in a clean, dry, and secure place. Any PPE violations will result in: first offense, written warning; second offense, time off. Disciplinary action plan. There are three classes of violations at Ford Motor Company. A Class 1 violation is a violation that would not likely cause death, serious injury, or property damage, such as a parking or PPE violation. First offense is a written warning, second offense is 3 days off, third offense is 3 months off. A Class 2 violation is a serious violation that would not likely cause death, but could cause serious injury or property damage, such as no fire watch. First offense is a written warning, second offense is 5 days off, third offense is 6 months off. A Class 3 violation is a serious or willful violation that could potentially cause death, serious injury, or property damage, such as failure to lock out, tag out, or no fall protection. First offense is 5 days off, second offense is 1 year off, and third offense is removal from all Ford projects. Safety. Daily huddles are required. The daily PTA worker engagement form must be signed daily. All contractors must follow the Ford 1100 Global Construction Specification and regional supplements for the U.S. Report all accidents, incidents, injuries, and near misses immediately to supervision, no matter how minor you might think it is. Site emergency contact information. In the event of an emergency, contact Aristio Safety. Do not call 911. Aristio Management will contact Ford Security for all emergencies. If you have anything past first aid, that is not an emergency, there is Concentra Urgent Care in Allen Park. In an emergency, there is Beaumont Hospital in Dearborn. VPEC evacuation event. Assembly Area A, pictured. DTF evacuation event. Location 1 is between front parking lot and Enterprise Drive in the grassy area, as pictured. DTF evacuation event. Location 2 is in the rear parking lot near the secure vehicle storage fenced-in area, as pictured. NMPDC evacuation event. Get in touch with your contact person for evacuation location, varies depending on project location. Evacuation event. Evacuate when fire alarms sound off, unless a test is in progress. Stop work. Shut off tools and equipment. Shut off gas and other flammables. Leave your work area in an orderly manner. Walk, do not run. Follow directions of your supervisor. Supervisors will conduct a roll call, then promptly notify Aristio Supervision that all employees have been accounted for. In the event you need to take shelter, the call tree will be utilized to notify the site. Follow directions of Aristio Management Team. Foreman will take a head count to ensure all workers are accounted for. Severe weather conditions. All outside work stops once lightning strikes within a 10-mile radius. Take shelter in the building or trailer. Work will resume 15 minutes after last strike within the 10-mile radius. Hot work is any work using open flames or sources of heat that could ignite materials in the work area. Hot work permit is required prior to performing any hot work activities and must be closed out at end of shift. Fire watch must be provided during and for at least 60 minutes after work, and during any coffee or lunch breaks. Fire watch must have suitable extinguisher in the work area. Fire watch must be trained in use of this equipment and sounding alarm. Housekeeping. Clean your work area throughout the day. Do not leave lumber, scrap, or garbage on the floor. Items not stored properly will cause a trip hazard. Water or oil on the floor will create slip hazards for employees or forklifts. Clean up immediately or notify your supervisor of these conditions. Remove any barricade tape once work is completed. Do not block egress or emergency exits with tools, material, etc. Cell phone usage. Stop in a safe place before and while using the mobile communication device. No walking and talking on cell phones. No operating vehicles or machinery while using a cell phone. No Bluetooth devices are permitted within the plant. Safe work bucket. Foreman must review PTA and all other relevant safety information with employees on a daily basis and verify employees fully understand the safety procedures and hazards. The safe work bucket will be strategically located in the task work area. If employee goes to a new task, they take their tag off the safe work bucket, meet with foreman of the new tasks and/or area, then place their tag on the new bucket. Task foreman or superintendent will have a yellow tag. Field employees will have a white tag. Apprentices will have a green tag. Health hazards in construction work. The following tasks can contain silica, sand blasting, abrasive blasting, tuck pointing, jackhammering concrete, brick cutting, block cutting, concrete cutting and drilling, demolition, stone cutting, foundry work, dowel drilling, using handheld grinders and chop saws, housekeeping, and sweeping. The rule of thumb is if dust containing silica is visible in the air, then it is almost always over the permissible limit. Hazard communication, right to know. You may request and review hazardous chemical lifts and safety data sheets. To do so, contact your supervisor. Safety data sheets must be on site for all chemicals and/or hazardous materials. All contractors shall have a copy of their hazard communication program available for review. All containers must have a label. You must follow manufacturer requirements at all times. Storage and handling requirements. Ensure proper storage of flammable materials. Fire extinguisher must be placed and inspected near the storage area. Rolling stock must be chalked. General storage and laydown, use dunnage, barricade the area as needed, and follow housekeeping requirements. Environmental procedures. Employees working on the construction site are to be properly trained to manage and handle materials and wastes, and need to respond appropriately to environmental emergencies. Do not let the spill get to the drains. Clean up the spill properly. Notify your company supervisor, who will notify our Aristio supervisor. Aristio will evaluate and call Plant Environmental if required for assistance. Inspection of equipment. Daily inspections must be conducted and documented by the operator for the following equipment: aerial lifts, cranes, including Brodersons, and powered industrial trucks. No daily documentation is required for personal fall arrest systems or ladders, but you are required to inspect prior to use. Smoking policy. No smoking allowed inside the battery lab, support facility, the North Road, DTF fuel farm, or within 6 feet of any building entry locations. Use approved butt containers, do not pitch butts on the ground. Ladder safety. Step ladders shall be equipped with a metal spreader and it must be fully opened and locked. Ladders shall be maintained in good condition at all times. Do not step on the top 2 steps of a stepladder. Requirements for portable ladders include: always face the ladder when climbing up or down. Ladders must always be secured in a fashion that eliminates stored energy, prevents unauthorized use, and secured while in use. If using ladder for access, it must extend 3 feet above the landing surface. Job-made ladders must be MIOSHA compliant. Electrical safety. All electrical work must be covered in the PTA. An electrical permit may be required. If you are working near a bus duct, if it is ventilated, you must be 4 foot minimum distance, or to energize, non-ventilated, you cannot make contact. Electrical cords, check before use, ensure cords are not in walk or travel paths, and ground fault circuit interrupters must be used at all times. Fall protection requirements. Any work over 6 feet requires fall protection. Shock-absorbing lanyards can be used above 18 feet. Self-retracting lanyards, or SRLs, can be used at any height. Keep all objects away from edges and use guardrails with toe boards. Guard all floor or wall openings that are subject to a fall at or above 6 feet. Anchorage system. An anchorage connection is a component intended for coupling the personal fall arrest system, or PFAS, to an anchorage and withstands a force of 5,000 pounds per person. Anchorages can be a beam, column, or other rigid structure. Do not attach anchorage devices to utility pipes, electrical conduits, duct work, or any unstable points. Inspection of fall arrest equipment. Inspect all components prior to each use. Look for cuts, damaged threads, discoloration, abrasions, deformation, cracks, burn damage, ultraviolet deterioration, and missing markings and labels. Fall arrest rescue. All contractors must have a fall rescue plan when utilizing personal fall arrest systems, i.e. how you will save the person, aerial lift, ladders, high-angle rescue, etc. All contractor employees must be knowledgeable of the fall arrest plans. Aerial lifts. 100% tie-off in all aerial lifts with self-retracting lanyards only. Ground person must be present at all times when the lift is in use, must maintain audible and visual communication distance at all times with no more than 3 lifts, cannot be on their cell phone or doing any tasks that distract them from their ground person duties, and must know how to use the ground controls. All workers must have their lift card with their current employer. Keep feet in the bottom of the basket. No standing on toe boards, mid rails, or top rail. Powered material handling vehicles or PMHVs. Inspect prior to use. Loaded PMHVs require spotter. Seat belts must be securely fastened during use. Pedestrians must maintain 2-foot distance from all PMHVs. Cranes. Only trained and certified operators are authorized to operate cranes. They must have qualified riggers and signal people. Never place any part of your body under a raised crane load. Tag lines shall be used. An operator must document their daily crane inspections. Caution and danger tape. Caution tape shall be used in hazard situations where a hazard or unsafe practice presents a lesser threat of employee injury. Caution tape can be crossed with care. If you need to put caution tape up, area must be taped off completely on all sides. Danger tape shall be used in major hazard situations where an immediate hazard presents a threat of death or serious injury to employees. Danger tape shall be used only in these situations. If you see danger tape up and it is not your area, do not cross it. Area must be taped off completely on all sides. And do not use caution and danger tape in the same barricade system. Climbing on and off of flatbeds. If you have to enter the top of a flatbed, follow the guidelines below. Climb onto the flatbed using a ladder. If a ladder is unavailable, climb up using the ICC bar or a step at the front, side, or rear of the trailer. Always maintain 3 points of contact when entering or exiting the trailer. Always be aware where the edge of the trailer is in relation to you. Never back up towards the edge, always face it when moving in that direction. Never jump off the trailer, always use a ladder. Key takeaways. If there is no PTA, no work, no exception. Daily PTA worker engagement form must be filled out daily, front and back. Everyone has the right to stop work if they see something unsafe. And there are security cameras throughout the site, so please report any issues promptly.